cluster analysis identifies antisynthetase syndrome as a distinct and heterogeneous clinical entity. Analysis from the classification criteria for antisynthetase syndrome project database. Antisynthetase syndrome, ASYS, is a rare, systemic autoimmune rheumatic disease with significant clinical heterogeneity. We performed unsupervised cluster analysis on clinical and serological data of patients registered to the International Multicenter Classification Criteria for Antisynthetase Syndrome Project, CLASS Project database to better characterize the clinical phenotype and heterogeneity of ASYS. The CLASS database comprised 2,035 ASYS and 2,140 controls with mimicking conditions, namely systemic autoimmune rheumatic disease and/or interstitial lung disease (ILD), submitted from 103 centers worldwide. We applied a multiple correspondence analysis followed by hierarchical clustering to aggregate ASYS and controls in the entire class cohort into distinct subgroups using 19 clinical and serological variables. Next, we repeated the cluster analysis among ASYS cases only. Cluster analysis of the entire class cohort, including 871 patients with ASYS and 923 patients with controls, identified three subgroups as shown in Figure 1. While Cluster 1 included both ASYS and controls, Cluster 2 included almost only controls, and Cluster 3 mostly comprised ASYS. Controls in Cluster 1 were more likely to have anti-MD5 or anti-PMSCL autoantibodies than in other clusters. As shown in Figure 2, 4 clusters emerged in the analysis of 1,146 patients with ASYS. Cluster 1, anti-Jo1 positive, full-spectrum ASYS with myositis, ILD, and arthritis. Cluster 2, myositis without ILD. Cluster 3, ILD predominant, and Cluster 4, anti-non-Jo1 positive cases. In conclusion, cluster analysis identified ASYS as a distinct and heterogeneous clinical entity. Patients with anti-MD5 positive dermatomyositis or anti-PMSCL positive scleroderma myositis overlap are highlighted as mimickers of ASYS. 4 prominent clusters emerged among ASYS, with ILD predominant being the second most common, underscoring the critical need for classification criteria that capture these patients with isolated ILD. The authors wish to thank all the CLASS project investigators for their invaluable role in the data collection. This is the end of our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.